What's going on, my beat builders? It's a great day to be alive. When you're making tracks for sync, you definitely need this one thing at the end of all of your tracks, and it's called a sting ending. Now, this is something different that you might not be used to hearing at the end of tracks, especially if you're coming from the beat maker making music for artists. All tracks don't necessarily have to have a sting because there's major placements, major artists who get placed in shows that they don't have sting outs on their songs. But for the majority of the music that's in TV film, a lot of it has a sting out. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's a rough mix of a track I made. This is supposed to be just hip hop, orchestral sports type of track. Now let's go to the end so I can show you what a sting ending is. And that is a sting ending. It ends at a close. It makes a statement. It's like a period. It just ends the scene. Let's listen to that again. And you see that? It's just a dum. The easiest way I found to make a sting is really you just taking whatever key your song is in, the root note, and whatever note that you used on the first note, that's what you're using at the end. So let me go to the beginning of the. So this was like the beginning right here. If I make a loop and just listen to, you might have to have your headphones on to hear the bass sound. But how that ends, the first note, and then I just go to the end, and you see it's the same note. So again, you need to have headphones on to hear it. So this is the beginning of the bar, and this is the beginning of the next bar, and it's the same note. And if we just listen to how I end it, I usually like to put a kick on it also to accent it. And with this, I accented the same thing using the root notes with the other elements. So let's bring in the strings and a brass hit so you can hear it. Right? Now that makes a statement. Now you can end it just like that. It sounds okay with the strings, but I usually like to have a big hit on it, especially if it's like hip hop sports type of thing where it's aggressive, it's in your face. So with the brass, the kick drum on it, let's take out the kick drum and listen to how it sounds. That's still good, right? That still is good because that brass sound adds that hit. That's okay. But like I said, that brass and the kick sound, it just adds the extra thump to it. I do have sometimes I use like these big hits. Let's solo these big hits. Oh, I didn't solo that. But sometimes I use those big orchestral big hits to end it too. So it just all depends, but that's what a sting out is. And you want to make sure sometimes, depending on what kind of brief you get, they either want a tight out or they let it ring out. Now let's listen to what this track does. If you're listening on headphones, it has a slight air out. So the horn and the other elements kind of ring out from the natural reverb, which is okay. It just depends on what library you want. Now let's listen to a tight end without all of that reverb on it. So what I'm gonna do is, since I don't have any information on the crash, I'm gonna solo that so you hear exactly how it stops. You see how I kind of just boom, it took away that reverb. So it sounds kind of less natural, but sometimes the editors of the shows, they want that just hard stop, because when you programming from TV, you got hard in and out times where you need commercials to come in and out, the actual show to come in. So either way isn't right or wrong. It just depends on what the brief tells you. One thing you don't want to do is, let's say you're playing the song, you don't want to start fading it. Let's start over. Now I'm fading the track. Now that's one thing you don't want to do. If they want to fade out a track, they'll fade out the track themselves. So don't worry about that. So that's one thing you might be used to if you're making beats for artists, that, you know, after, like, let's say the last hook, you want to let the beat ride a little bit, you'll fade out the song. You hear that a lot in popular music. So make sure when you're making your music that you have those sting endings. It just is nice punctuation for the track. It just ends the scene. When you go listening to TV shows, start listening for that sting and listen to how it matches the action. You'll see maybe someone arguing, or let's say it's like a cooking show and they're trying to judge it, and they'll be like, the winner is dun dun dun. And right when that end hits, it goes to a commercial. That's what it's thinking. It builds that tension, that suspense, so then you can keep coming back. So make sure you're studying your show so you'll start hearing it. And I guarantee once you start hearing it, you're not going to hear TV shows differently. You're going to be in beat maker mode and be like, oh, I like that sting. They had some brass hits, or the way they used a riser to end that scene is really nice. Let me know in the comments if you're going to be applying stings to your tracks if you haven't been already. Don't overthink these things. It's really just something that you need to put at the end to end your song and make that statement. And if you're looking for more tips and tricks on how to get your music in TV shows, commercials, and stuff like that, check out one of these videos.